Welcome to Kippy C Math! Today we're going to round 2-digit numbers to the nearest 10, and we're going to use the help of a chicken crossing the road. Round means to find a number that your number is close to. One of the times that I hear people round the most is when they talk about money, because you don't always pay exactly the amount that's given, and so we usually just round. We think about what it's close to. This toy says it's $69, but when we're talking about it, we might be like, oh yeah, that play stove costs $70. We talk about what it's close to, and we usually round to a nice, easy place value because when we're talking about like the money in our wallet, we have $10 bills. Now, I said we're going to use a chicken to help us, and here we have Hey Hey from the movie Moana, which is one of my favorite movies. You've probably heard of the joke, why did the chicken cross the road? Well, Hey Hey is trying to cross the road so he can get to the other side, and a big truck is coming. Hey Hey can choose to go to this side of the road or this side of the road. What side do you think he should go to? I think he should go to this side because he's closer. Now imagine instead, Hey Hey was over here. Then I would tell him to run to this side because it's closer. I basically would use the halfway mark of the road to decide. If Hey Hey's over here, he should run this way. If Hey Hey's over here, he should run this way. Well, we're actually going to do the same with number. When we're rounding or figuring out what a number is close to, we're going to figure out the sides, and then we're going to figure out the halfway mark. So, step 1, figuring out the sides of the road. In this case, what we really mean is figuring out the numbers that our number is between on the number line. So if it says round 69 to the nearest 10, we're really wondering the sides of the road are the 10s that 69 is between. We already learned how to do this with Miss Nasuti. So we're just going to put that number in a place value chart like we learned. And now we see that 69 is between 6 10s, which is 60, and then 7 10s, which is 70. So that's the sides of the road. You can imagine Hey Hey's trying to decide, should he run to 60 or 70? Next, we find out the halfway mark. We need to know where the middle of the road is to decide if Hey Hey's going to run this way or if Hey Hey's going to run this way. For right now, since we're rounding to the nearest 10, our number line is skip counting by 10. And you could imagine 10's rod getting us to each of those numbers. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Half of it is going to be half of 10. Half of it is going to be 5. Always. Right? So here, in between 0 and 10 is 5. This is half 5 is 5, but we started at 10, so it's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Here, half of 10 is 5, so 20 and 5 makes 25. Here, halfway is going to be 35, 45, 55. Since we're rounding to 10s and the side of our roads are 10s, halfway is going to be 5. Let's practice finding halfways for a minute. Let's say someone had already made a place value chart and figured out the benchmarks. We know there's 10 in between this number. If we want half, halfway between 20 and 30 is 5 more, 25. Halfway between 60 and 70 is 5 more, 65. Halfway between 30 and 40 is 5 more, 35. Halfway between 50 and 60 is 5 more, 55. Halfway between 40 and 50 is 5 more, 45. What number is halfway between 70 and 80? Halfway between 70 and 80 is 5 more, 75. The last step is just to see what side your number is on. So I know 26 is over here. It's past the halfway mark. It's closer to 30, and 30 is my answer. I know 68 is somewhere over here. It's past 65. It's closer to 70. 70 is my answer. 32, though, 32 isn't past halfway. 32 is on this side. It's closer to this side. It rounds to 30. Same with 52. It's less than 55. It's on this side. It's closer to 50. 47's past the halfway mark. It's on this side. It's closer to 50. So you think about 79. Think about where it's going to go on the number line, and then which side is it closer to, 70 or 80? 79 is past the halfway mark. It's on this side. It's closer to 80. I know that that's a lot of steps, so let's see them all put together clearly with our special guest. Mr. Woods, hello!
Hey, how's it going?
Great! Thank you for joining us!
Thank you for having me. Shout out to Promise. Hey, Promise Academy.
We are really happy you're here. We were wondering if you could tell us, how do you round 37 to the nearest 10?
How do I round 37 to the nearest 10? Okay. Well, first, I put 37 into a place value chart, thinking about my 10s and my 1s. All right. So then I have 3 10s, 7 1s.
Okay.
Now I'm looking at my place value chart, and I need to put that on a number line. So I'm going to draw my number line, and I'm going to count how many 10s I have. I have 10, 20, 30. So 3 10s is 30. So I'm at 30. Now I need to think about what's the next nearest 10 to 30 is 40. All right, so where's 37 on this number line? Well, halfway between 30 and 40, or half of 10, scratch that. Half of 10 is 5. So I'm going to go ahead and put my 5 in between 30 and 40, which gives me 35. And I know that 37 is 2 more than 35. So I'm going to go 35, 36, 37. There's 37. Now, which one is 37 closer to? Is it closer to 30 or is it closer to 40? Well, I know 35 is halfway. And if I'm a chicken crossing a road, I'm going to stay forward and go straight to 40. So 37 rounded to the nearest 10 is 40.
Awesome! Thank you so much!
Thank you.
This has a lot of steps, so let's do one more together. I'm going to have my road. So that is really, really helpful if I start by drawing out my number line, like the 2 sides of the road and the halfway mark. To figure out my 10s, I put my 82 in the place value chart. I see 8 10s, so I know that my number is either between 80, because that's 8 10s, or what's the next 10 up? What should go right here? What is the next 10 on the other side of my number line? Up from 8 10s is 9 10s, so this should be 90. Now I need my halfway mark. Half of 10 is 5, so the halfway mark is 85. And now when I put 82, 82 is less than 85 here, what's my answer? 82 rounds to which side does my 82 go to? Which number is it closest to? 82 is less than 85, so it rounds to this side. It rounds to 80. Great job. Some of you might be thinking, of course 82 is closer to 80, duh. I kind of already knew that in my brain. I get it. But we don't want to take shortcuts, or you could end up like hey by accident. This is easy right now, but it's about to get really hard. We're about to have to round bigger numbers, like 567 to the nearest 10. We're going to have to round 567 to the nearest 100. We're going to have to round 1,567 to the nearest 100. It gets more complicated. So we still are going to show this work, even if maybe you kind of already had the answer in your brain. We use the number that is halfway between our benchmarks to see what our number is closest to. And our benchmarks are going to change. They're not always going to be 10s. So our halfway mark is going to have to change. It's going to get really, really complicated, but you're getting the basic idea. Now it's time to show that work. Yay for your super brain. You can dance like this chicken.